Last night was one of the worst, best games I have watched in my last 11 years of watching the Philadelphia 76ers. All on the line and a first half from hell. You know, I started yesterday's show saying that last night is a legacy game for Joel Embiid. It's just a playing game. It's not the playoffs. It's not the finals. It's not the seventh game of the NBA Finals, but it is an important game for him. The Miami Heat were in the finals last year. Jimmy Butler is a great playoff player and is an enemy here, and him beating Jimmy Butler, to me, was a big deal. I believe that Joel Embiid rose to the occasion in his legacy game. The performance from Joel Embiid last night, to me, makes me more confident for the rest of the playoffs. Now, I'm aware that Joel Embiid sucked for nearly 3/4 of basketball. He looked mopey, he looked slow, his knee looked hurt, he looked out of shape, and he didn't look into it. But all I hear about Joel Embiid when I bring up his MVPs and his performances is, let me see it when it counts. Every person, from my father to thousands of Twitter users, when I say that Joel Embiid is great, they say, let me see it when it counts. Well, in the fourth quarter last night, it counted. And in the fourth quarter, Joel Embiid protected the rim. In the fourth quarter, Joel Embiid scored 11 points, got some big rebounds, a couple of huge assists. And yes, Nick Batum was great. The backup guys were great yesterday. Kyle Lowry was good. But without Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter, they don't win that game. And I am more confident that they beat the Knicks because of what I saw from Joel Embiid last night. 215-592-9494. What do you think?
Well, I'm going back and forth with this, right? That game was full of all type of emotions. It was a roller coaster game. Everybody mad as hell after the first half. People out at halftime. I'm seeing all type of declarations on Twitter that this is why you'll never win with this guy. He doesn't show up, same old Sixers. I'm seeing all of this, right? And obviously there's a lot of basketball still left to be played. So I felt confident that the Sixers could turn it around, primarily because they were at home. Even though the crowd justifiably was a little on edge, you heard the booing. Again, justifiably, when you think about how that first quarter was going, it was great to see the big fella find his way out of it.
Sure.
In the most critical time in that fourth quarter. I mean, those 3-point shots he hit was huge. They just were big-time shots. He also made some other big plays where he got guys easy baskets, right? So they're running this junk defense that they're throwing at him, and it took them a little time to figure it out. Started to wonder about Nick Nurse in that first half. I'm like, dude, they're playing zone defense. Okay, how long is this going to take us to figure this out?
Every college team in America plays that defense. Can we please? Yeah.
Dude, Jim Boeheim was like, he didn't need a blue chew from John Johnson watching the first half.
Did you say Boeheim?
Yeah, Boeheim.
Boeheim, man.
Whatever, he's a fraud anyway. I hate Jim Boeheim.
Get this guy out of here. Get rid of that guy.
Get rid of that guy. So I kind of walk away from this game last night, Spike, and I still have questions as to I can't necessarily say I'm encouraged, other than the fact I like the way they fought last night and got the W. Years past, I don't think that happens. Under Doc Rivers, that doesn't happen. So I'm encouraged by that. But here's where I'll say I'm a little discouraged. I don't know if Embiid, it was that conditioning. Is he 100% healthy? Like, we had to scrape and fight to get through that game last night against the Miami Heat, and something didn't look right with Joel Embiid.
So I agree. And if you remember when Kenny from the Dirty 30 called yesterday, and he said he hadn't been to a Sixers game in 20 years.
Yeah.
And he said, what should I expect? And I said, here's the deal. I said, if you get in there and Joel is frustrated on offense and turning the ball over and moping up and down the court, bad news for you, they're going to lose.
Right.
That's what I said to him yesterday.
I remember.
And here's why I'm encouraged. I've seen the beginning of the game that Joel Embiid had last night 100 times.
It's true.
Before last night.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of those games, they lost.
They lose, yep.
They lost.
Yep.
And last night, they didn't. And that's not all Joel. I'm not giving Joel all the credit. I'm telling you what I think about Joel from that game.
Sure.
Because without Nick Batum, they don't win the game, right?
The real star of the game.
Was the star, 100%. Without Kyle Lowry, they don't win the game. Without Paul Reed's minutes, they don't win the game. All those guys
Tobias
that lifted
had
him
a huge first half.
First 5 minutes.
Dude, he threw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball off the backboard. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, they had to stop the game down and replace the backboard after that 3. But
I'm just going through the contributions.
I've seen Joel have that game and have that game all the way to the end of that game. And I'm not just giving him credit, but whether it's Nick Nurse, whether it's his teammates, or whether it's him waking up and just say, I am not going to go out like that.
Right.
You know, I'm not going out like that. I'm not going out with Jimmy Butler on the other side of the court, also with a knee injury. I'm not going to let that guy kick my ass.
Again at home.
I don't want to be the laughingstock anymore. I don't want the conversation online and on these TV shows to be about my knee and my conditioning and whether I have it, blah, blah, blah. And he came through. And like, I'm aware. I watched the game. There were so many bad Joel signs in that game to be upset about. But I walked away from that. Honestly, I walked away from that game more excited about the team and the next month or 2 months than I've been in a very long time.
I'm gonna need them to go up there and split New York before I get encouraged.
Okay.
I do. Because now I'm worried that New York may have seen or found something that they can use to sort of throw the Sixers' offensive rhythm off. And that's a team that I believe they have the athletes to get out and run and get up and down the court. And if this is conditioning, honestly, whether it's conditioning or he isn't 100%, you can bet the Knicks are going to try to wear Joel Embiid down by running him up and down the court.
Well, bad news for them. He's already worn down, so there's nothing they could do. Are you more encouraged or less encouraged about Joel Embiid and the Sixers after last night? 215-592-9494. Now, Jack, are you a believer?
No, and actually leave last night feeling more discouraged. I think this whole nonsense about Embiid's night, like he looked mopey again in a winner go home situation. What are we talking about? If Butler doesn't hurt his knee, they lose last night. If they don't have Brickin' for Chicken, who knows if the dude Brickin' for Chicken saved the Sixers season last night.
Yeah,
I don't know what are people happy about. You beat the Heat without Rozier. Butler didn't play the last 6 minutes. Duncan Robinson didn't play, and Embiid looked like the classic Embiid for the first 3 quarters. And the only
then
reason
what happened?
The only reason he tried is because it was close. Like I thought he was about to fold, and he was right about to fold.
But he didn't fold.
Sure, he made a couple threes. He got a little bit lucky, and I get it. But the first 3 quarters, he looked like same old Joel. And Maxey didn't look ready for the moment. That's the big issue with last night. Maxey didn't look ready, and Embiid didn't look ready, and
they still won.
Because the Heat got all banged up. What am I supposed to be
encouraged
about?
Wait a minute. The Sixers are as banged up as the Heat are. With the Joel Embiid has a knee injury. Jimmy Butler has a knee injury. The Heat are missing a starting guard in Terry Rozier. The Sixers are missing a starting guard in DeAnthony Melton. The Heat are missing Duncan Robinson. The Sixers are missing Robert Covington. I don't want to hear anything.
Whoa.
Well, I don't want to hear anything.
Slid that Robert Covington in
he's a rotation player.
I haven't seen Robert Covington play since February.
But that's the point. My point is everybody's banged up. Everybody's got knee injuries. They wanted that game as much as the Sixers did, and the Sixers won it. That's
Am I
where
getting
I'm
20 points from Nicholas Batum in future games?
But you're not going to need it. I guess my point is last night they got it, but they didn't waste it. There was a total possibility we end up with 20 points out of Nick Batum and the Sixers lose and they're playing Friday night.
Sure.
And they're not. And the reason they're not is because of Embiid in the fourth quarter. 215-592-9494.
It's enough.
I believe.
It's enough there. I can honestly, there is a sort of exhale, sigh of relief. They got through that game. And Embiid was a big part of the reason late in that game. I am encouraged by that. I truly am. I think Maxey was figuring it out throughout the night. Now he knows. He got that elbow from Jimmy Butler early in the game, and it's playoff basketball. Yeah, you're going to get elbowed in the face. Just be thankful it wasn't Markelle Fultz, so you'd be out for the rest of the damn series if he elbowed you in the face. So that type of stuff happens. But I do where Jack is coming from. I'm more or less like, why did the game have to be like we had to climb out of a hole? It didn't seem like we were ready to play last night. That's where I'm like, if that game is in Miami, you know that's a loss.
You're correct.
Yeah,
yep.
And they won't have home court advantage versus the Knicks. I need to see if I can get game 1 or game 2 down there and Embiid looks like Embiid and Maxey gets going, then I can be encouraged. Right now, I'm more or less, I'm a little concerned about getting through this series versus the Knicks. I'm not as 100% certain as I was prior to last night's game.
So taking stock, I'm encouraged. You're wait and see. Jack is like BS. Jack is thumbs down.
Last night was so fugazi.
All right.